Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. This show is sponsored by Kits Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. REM Real Estate Magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. And the ORCF, the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation, enabling and empowering realtors across Ontario to fundraise in support of shelter-related causes in the communities in which they live and work. You can learn more about all of our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And hey, while you're there, be sure to check out the details of our upcoming Mindshare Mastermind happening in Toronto on September 16th through the 18th. Registration is closing in just a few days on August 9th. Your seat in that room is waiting for you. This is your chance to join me live in Toronto with some very amazing friends of mine. Our mission is to motivate you, to inspire you, to help you build a stronger mindset, and overall, to help you spark new, fresh ideas that will help propel you to your next level of success in both life and business. I mean, imagine being in a room where you get to share your challenges and immediately get solutions from people who are walking in the same shoes as you, as well as from experts who have helped many to get to their next levels. This is 2.5 days of masterminding, and I personally guarantee that you will walk out of there loaded with excitement and new ideas, and that you'll be ready to take on the world. Check out the website for details, mindshare101.com. Get yourself in that room with us. Today's episode is number 294. She is the current chair of the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation, a third-generation realtor born and raised in Port Dover. Her and her husband are the owners of Erie's Edge Real Estate located in Norfolk County. She served as president of her local real estate board, the Simcoe and District Real Estate Board, from December of 2011 to 2013. She was the inaugural chair of OREA's Young Professionals Network in 2011 and 2012. And she also served as the first international representative to the National Association of Realtors Young Professionals Network in 2012, 2013, and 2014. Alongside today, with more than 20 years' experience leading fundraising and stewardship programs, she is instrumental in the implementation of the Foundation's new strategic plan. She is leading a team of 2 staff and working with a board of 12 to make a difference in communities where Ontario realtors live and work. She joins the ORCF from the Canadian Spondylitis Association, where as interim executive director, she served as a consultant to the board of directors during the transformation of the association from a not-for-profit to a registered charity. Prior to that, she was part of the executive team at Cystic Fibrosis Canada in the role of Chief Community Engagement Officer, providing leadership and growth strategies for fund development. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare Podcast are ORCF Board Chair Amie and Executive Director Shannon Kettlers. Shannon, Amie, welcome to the Mindshare Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to have you both, and I'm excited for the conversation we're going to get into. You know, it's funny. Yesterday, I was at baseball, as I told you before we got on air. And I was speaking with some of the folks over there, and I made comment. Now, I think I've mentioned to you both, and I think most of my listeners know this, but I've been coaching baseball for a number of years at a rep level. And I also joined the board of directors for the baseball club a couple of years ago. Now, as you both know, when you do stuff beyond the regular work you do, it's just more stuff. It keeps you busier. It takes up a lot more time. Well, here I am as a baseball coach, and I'm literally on the brink of retirement, which sounds... it's sad. I don't want to stop coaching baseball, but my son has accepted an offer to play on an incredible baseball team for next year at a completely different level of baseball. And if I do go back in time, we started doing this for him, not for me. Well, in talking with my coaches last night and just mentioning, and we finished our last regular season game last night, I mentioned I'm still staying on the board. And they looked and they said, "What? You're not coaching anymore, but you're going to stay on the board?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Why?" I enjoy giving back. I enjoy being part of the community. It's for no dollars, not for profit. But there's something innate that when you do give back and you are able to participate, be involved in, be one of the people that do step up to do versus the people that, well, don't do. there's a really good feeling about it. And I know you know what I mean, right? Because there's very few that do, and there's many that don't do. And I think doing is something that is special. I think that it brings a sense of accomplishment, personal satisfaction to know that you're helping so many people. And this for me again, as you know, we all got together, what, about a year ago together, maybe over that now. And I started understanding what the ORCF was about. I started getting excited about that. I thought, wow, like I didn't know all this stuff. So I am thoroughly excited to get in this conversation today, and to be able to share with our audience, both here in Canada, down south of the border, you know, in our real estate industry specifically, and abroad, what you guys are up to, and why this is such a powerful, you know, organization, and why people need to know, or a powerful foundation, pardon me, why people need to know what you're doing, and how you help and how they can get involved. So I figured, Amie, can you tell us more about the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation? I mean, give us some background history about the foundation. Even tell us what those main objectives are.
Sure, absolutely, David. And thank you again for having us. It's a pleasure to be here with you again. You're right, almost 1 year later, to be exact. So
Wow.
That's fantastic. And we appreciate your support with the foundation, not just the foundation as a whole, but in terms of the ride and everything that you do for us. So we're excited to be here today. The Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation originally started as a fund through the Canadian Real Estate Association, the Ontario Fund, back in 1967, I believe. Which was part of the Canadian Real Estate Association. And then later on in 77, the foundation was renamed the Ontario Real Estate Association Foundation. So that's where the connection to OREA lied at that point in time. And then in 2006, the name was changed to the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. And then most recently, we've separated ourselves a little bit from, you know, being under OREA's umbrella to creating our own I'm trying to think of the right word, our own structure. So that's where we hired Shannon as our executive director. And we have our own finance department. We have our own marketing department, and then an administrator that takes care of pretty much everything else. So we have a very strong team, which is great. But it has given us an opportunity to grow on our own and to set our own goals, in which we created a strategic plan to determine where the foundation needed to go next in order to take that next step. I always like to think of us as the giving arm of the nearly 100,000 realtors that are in the province now. So that is our role, is to give back to the communities. It's to raise funds for shelter-based charities, and to try and build the brand of realtors and how they are so important in their communities. And I think that you mentioned it before about being involved in baseball and so forth. So I'm very much the same. I actually got to know, I actually found out after hiring Shannon that we had worked together at a local event here in Port Dover, which most people would know of, Friday the 13th, the biker rally. We worked very
I'm very aware.
We worked hand in hand with cystic fibrosis, because that's the Canadian charity for the Kinsmen. So this is one of the things that I do. I give back through that. I used to be a skating coach. I was a cheerleading coach, and I followed in my mom's footsteps. My mom was a realtor. She was a member of the club as the president for many years. Even when I quit skating and moved on, she was still there participating and helping, exactly like you said. So not only that, realtors do a lot in their community. They raise a lot of funds for all kinds of different things. And I think that together as a collective, we can share how much realtors actually do if we work together through the foundation.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, so much of what you said there, and then picking out on the fact that it is, you know, and forgive me, I'm not going to say it verbatim, but, you know, sort of representative of the 100,000 realtors, the giving arm of the 100,000 realtors, right? And that's huge. You know, look, everybody here knows I put out a ton of content through our social media channels, and it's all obviously very much in an effort to help our industry, to help the people within our industry become better, become more successful. And in putting those messages out, one thing that I do get back is I get a lot of feedback from people who are not in the industry about what they feel about the industry. And look, we've got some amazing, amazing people that are part of this industry. Amazing. And I do believe that where the ORCF is so helpful in that is being able to really help all of us collectively have a much better, more positive face, be looked at in a better light, by the folks that are out there in terms of what we do and how we do it. And it's not just the process of helping people market properties and negotiate deals. There's a lot of that also very much is involved. How are we getting involved in the community? What are we doing to give back to the community? And we know that there's some amazing people doing some amazing things, some amazing realtors doing amazing things for the communities. Much the same now. We combine that together within this umbrella, and we've got a much louder voice. And I think it just helps us put an even stronger, more collaborative front in front of everybody in a positive way. So I love what you guys are doing there. Now, you mentioned shelter-based charities. Shannon, why shelter-based charities? In fact, we should probably classify what is a shelter-based charity. And then let's go on to that one and go, what's the need like in Ontario for this type of stuff?
Yeah, thanks. That's a really great question. And thank you for asking. So from the money that we fundraise through the foundation, we provide grants to registered charities in Ontario that fit the definition of shelter. And shelter is a very broad message. So shelter for us is defined as registered charities that provide individual Ontarians with a refuge, haven, or other type of protection from the effects of hunger, disability, illness, and so forth. So we focus on those areas specifically because homelessness and food insecurity is at a crisis level at our province. I think we all realize that is something that we need to be focusing on. And it really fits well within the parameters of what realtors do, right? So that is one of the reasons that we actually do support those types of charities. The need is great, especially now. 45% of tenant households right now are spending 30% or more of their total income on shelter. This is the highest rate in Canada. And 1/3 of our food bank visitors are using this service for the very first time. And food bank use has also increased 42% over the past 3 years. So we're currently, working with those charitable partners and just trying to help make that difference. So having those realtors that are engaging in their communities and supporting the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation through grants and volunteer support is really huge for us. And that's really the message we're trying to convey.
It's amazing. Look, the cost of living has never been higher.
I know.
I think I was looking at something yesterday. Somebody had shared this with me that we are paying more in taxes than we are on, again, groceries, gasoline, whatnot. I mean, the cost of living is really the point that I'm making there. It's gotten to a point where it's very, very difficult for many. And I want to take an opportunity right there. And that just struck a thought in my mind is that anybody who is, I can use the word stressing right now about your financial situation, about the cost of living versus maybe the lack of activity when it comes to generating revenue, and especially those of us in the sales world that are operating as you go out there and you hunt, and if you hunt, you might get some opportunities, and depending on how the market goes, there's a lot of people stressed out about that right now, and it's just a real quick note to everybody to say you're not alone. Okay, you're really not alone. So many people are going through it. And so, does that provide solution to you? Well, again, I would suggest to you to stay focused on the things you need to be doing to have the successes. And as I've said to the baseball team, and I've said on this podcast before, and we've said many, many times, we know the cliche line of what goes up must come down. Well, hey, if you're feeling down, I need to remind you that what goes down must go up. Okay, so keeping a positive mindset and really staying focused. Now, looking at what the foundation is doing and the support that it's providing, especially in that realm, it's absolutely huge. It's imperative.
And, we're also hearing from a lot of our community partners that they have families, 2-income families are now having to make the choice of putting shelter over their children's head or feeding them. I can't even imagine how much additional stress that would add to your everyday life.
And there it is, right? So it's recognizing that, again, things will get better. There's time where they will, and we have to be optimistic about that. Much the same, look at what, again, we're doing here as the ORCF to be able to come together, collaborate on that and say, hey, I can help, right? That's a special thing when you can help others, taking the opportunity to do so is massive. Now, tell me, How much did the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation raise in 2023?
Sure, absolutely. In 2023, our revenue was about 2.2 million,
Wow.
of which 1.8 million was donated to over 170 charitable organizations across Ontario.
Wow. So okay. Now, I think we mentioned this before and just talking funding, just so people understand that. How is the ORCF funded? Is it
Well,
purely based on others doing the contributions?
Yeah, so there's a couple, well, there's quite a few ways in which the foundation is funded. So first of all, I think one of our biggest form of funding is through what's called the Every Realtor campaign. There's all of the real estate boards in the province of Ontario, except for one, are participants of the Every Realtor campaign. What that means is that each realtor donates anywhere between $1 and $5 per month to the foundation. And then that money comes to the foundation. It will collect interest over the course of the year. And at the end of the year, that money is distributed back through the real estate boards. So for example, I'm from a small board, Simcoe District Real Estate Board. So obviously, well, we've now combined with Cornerstone. So we're much larger now. And Cornerstone, for example, is one of the boards that's giving $2 per member per month to the foundation. So at the end of the year, we send a report to the board saying, here's how much you donated. Here's how much interest was collected. This is your portion of the interest. So now if there was, let's say there was $1,500 donated throughout the year, they may get $1,500 plus the interest. Then what they do is they apply for a grant in which that money is then funded back to shelter-based organizations within their community. So each real estate board has the ability to donate to all of these charities or shelter-based organizations within their community after sending the money through to the foundation. So that shows how much money we're generating from every realtor.
And so say those numbers again you said 2.2 million.
2.2 million, and 1.8 of that was donated to 170 organizations.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
The nice thing with the ERC program too, with all of our realtors donating $1 or $2 or whatever a month, 100% of that goes back into their communities. And I think that's really important for people to understand that we actually don't keep any of it.
And we actually give them a little extra. Right, we give them a little extra with the interest. So 100% of that is being given back to the communities within the board's jurisdiction. So in our situation, we've given to food banks, we've given to women's shelter, Habitat for Humanity. So those are the type of things that our local board has given to in the past. We do also have some other fundraisers. We have the Jam with a Past President, which I know you've been to before, David. It's usually it's held once a year for sure, sometimes twice. We'll be holding our second event in October for this year. And so this is hosted by Brian Walker. Brian is a past president of the Ontario Real Estate Association. He started this 17 years ago, I think, something like that.
A long time. Yeah. Amazing.
And so basically what they do is he has a band and they jam. And if you would like to sing with them or play with them, then you make a donation to the foundation. In order to do so, we usually hold some sort of raffle while we're there. And I think the one in, when was that? March
at Realtors Quest.
The one in May at Realtors Quest.
Yes. Okay. Realtor Quest May.
Raised about $15,000.
That was a crazy packed house. You guys crushed that event.
Yeah, their band is really good. And it's really nice because he gets other realtors up there on the stage to jam with him as well. So it's not just confined to his band. So it gives realtors and other individuals who are participating an opportunity to get up there and do their thing. So it's exciting.
So I put on an event, I raise some funds, I get you guys involved. How do and forgive me, I think you might have just kind of broke this down for us, but how do the funds get distributed? Because again, we looked and said, we collected X, we gave out Y, there's a little bit more on top. If I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I want to give back, I want to get involved in doing something. And I don't want to pigeonhole us into specific numbers right now just to throw off any math, on the spot here. But if we said, how do the funds get distributed if I was to host an event? Could you break that down?
So there's
or clarify?
Things. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the Every Realtor Care campaign, how do we decide which charity gets the funding? It's a question that showed up in the chat as well, which ties to your question here, David, is that we actually don't decide that. The real estate boards decide who they want to receive that money. They do have to fill out a grant application for us to confirm that they fit within the shelter-based requirements. And if they do, then we write them a check, they give that money away. If they don't, then they find another charity that does. In terms of individual events, this is something new that we've started in the last year or two, is having more individual events. So we've had a few people. Brian's is a good example because he actually started it, but it's always been hosted by the foundation. So we do a lot of the legwork, and we're there to, take tickets and all that stuff and sell raffle tickets. We do a lot of that. Brian organizes the entertainment, and he's fantastic at it. But another example, we had a realtor, Irene, she was her name, and she wanted to host a line dancing event to raise money. Shannon, do you remember where that money was going to specifically? Right to the foundation,
right? It came to the foundation specifically, and then we housed it out from there.
Yeah. So, and then from there, we determine where the best place for that is. And usually it could be right from the person who hosted the event that they'd like some of that money to go there. Or there may be situations in Ontario that require some funding. So good examples, things that we have participated in the past, not necessarily in Ontario, is when there's a housing crisis or a disaster in somewhere. So I think Fort McMurray was one of the ones that we originally made a donation to. There was some flooding in Ottawa as well, where we made some donations to that as well, to try and help with people that were struggling with shelter at that point in time. Most of that is done through the Red Cross and the Canadian Real Estate Association, but we do participate in that type of thing as well. There's not a lot of funds that we actually have ourselves to individually give out, because a lot of it comes through the Every Realtor campaign, but that's part of our strat plan, is to change that. We'd like to see the foundation itself generate its own revenue that we can donate across Ontario when situations arise, like natural disasters or something like that. So it's not fully done yet. It's in the works. We are working with people who want to host events and in turn make that donation to the foundation. So we had another one, a real estate board did a real estate brokerage, and a bunch of realtors in Sudbury hosted a baseball tournament where they raised $10,000, and that money was donated directly to the foundation. So if there's a need and we have the funding from that $10,000, we can distribute that somewhere as we see fit.
And I think it's also important to note that, if you wanted to do an individual fundraiser for the foundation and you didn't know where to direct that money to, we can actually take that for you and we can direct it to where we feel it's appropriate. However, if you do have a passion and you want to donate to a specific charitable organization, you can still funnel that money through the foundation. And the importance of that is that we're able to then really track the collective giving of realtors across Ontario.
I always say it's right now we're talking, what did I say? 2.2 million is what we generated. There's 100,000 realtors in the province of Ontario. 2.2 million is a big number, but it's not where it should be for 100,000 realtors. So if you're doing an event and you want to raise money for something that is shelter-based, let's just use Habitat as an example. That's a good example. And I'm hosting my own personal event and I want it to go to my local Habitat charity or my local Habitat group. I do the fundraiser. I talk to the foundation. They can assist with, maybe doing some marketing for us, that kind of thing, promoting the event on their social media page. And then I funnel that money through the foundation, who then writes a check on my behalf to my local Habitat chapter. And at that point in time, that number of 2.2 just jumped to whatever that extra funding is that I just raised. So the more that it funnels through the foundation, the better we are able to determine how much money realtors in Ontario are actually giving back to their communities.
Now, let's talk to that, right? Because I wanted to ask you both why realtors should be leveraging the ORCF and how it's going to help increase their brand awareness within the community.
Well, I think anybody who is a member of a local real estate board is a member of the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. The boards are actually the members, but the members are the members of the members, if that makes sense. So as a realtor, I can say, I'm part of the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation, and over the last 12 months, we've given back over $1.8 million to 170 organizations across Ontario. And when you're in a listing presentation with somebody And, you know, if I was to say that, but my competitor didn't, somebody might say, hey, that's really cool. Or if I hosted an event that went through the foundation and said, I partnered with the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation to do this for our community. You can use it in a lot of ways, promoting the value of a realtor, because a lot of times people think the value of a realtor is simply putting a for sale sign on a lawn. Mm-hmm. Well, the value of the realtor is what comes back in the end, right? What do we do for our communities? So this is a great way to say realtors do give back. And I think I've done a lot of research in my time in organized real estate, and I've come to learn that every single realtor that I have become very good friends with gives back more to their communities than anybody else I know in the community. Realtors give back way more than anybody even knows. And this is a way for us to tell people that. I always joke about the fact that when you look at the scale, I call it the scale, I don't know what you want to call it, but we kind of fall down there by the car salesman. But maybe if the communities knew exactly what realtors do and how much money they give back to the community and how they protect people and, you know, make sure people have housing, we might move up that scale a little bit, or it just makes us all look better as a whole.
And I also think as far as leveraging and how this is going to help their brand, you know, we are doing everything that we can within the ORCF to help support them. So if they do a fundraiser or provide funding through the foundation, we've really built out our social media presence in the last few years. Our goal is to really educate other realtors on the good work that other people are doing in their communities. We have a great program called the Real Heart campaign, which is one that highlights all the good work, all the volunteer work that individuals are doing in their communities. And this is our way to give back to them and thank them for the hard work and the support that they're providing us.
You know, my mind, first of all, we're always talking about building mind share, right? And everybody knows that about the Mindshare podcast, and obviously a lot of what we do. And my mind is wheeling right now. Everybody, like, listen up to what's going on here, right? We know, when I stated this off the top of the show, and Aim, you just said it, that scale, the used car salesperson, we've fallen into this place. And the reality is we, the ones collectively that have been in this industry a long time, that have seen each other at conferences and events and have partaken in amazing causes like this together, we know how awesome we are. We know what kind of amazing industry this is and how many great people there are. We also know that there's a lot of new people coming into the industry, and they have their own ways of doing the business, and that may or may not at some times shine a negative light on us as an industry. Hence, a lot of the comments that we get online, the thoughts that some people have about maybe, yes, you know, are you, whatever you just said, they're pushing paper or just signing a contract, like, or putting a sign in the lawn, forgive me. We, again, know it is so much more than that, right? You've got to really care. You've got to be there to help people. You've got to deal with their emotions. And for the people that you help and that have done business with you and they get to see who you genuinely are, they don't have that negative light about you. As a whole, industry-wide, we've got an opportunity to leverage the ORCF and say to everybody, and I know, ladies, you both just shared this. I just want to repeat this, though. It's so important because as we're building mindshare, to build positive mindshare is to show people what it is that you're doing to help. And if you look at anybody around you, whatever industry they're in right now, and you see somebody who gives back, you see somebody who truly wants to help, you see somebody who does it out of the goodness of their heart and not for the monetization of it, truly, you look at that person and say they are good people. That is a person who is a good person. They've got a kind heart. And you look at them in a positive. And you might even naturally just go, hey, that person's a good person. Yes, I would actually trust that person. I would hire that person. I would work with that person, refer that person. Well, you build relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's where opportunities come from. So if you can already put that out there and say, you may not know me, and you don't even stand around going, hey, look at all the great that I'm doing. You just do it. Then you leverage the ORCF to help you say, hey, look at all the good we're doing. Well, now much the same. You're looked at as one of those good people, and you've just created a new opportunity for yourself.
And I think you make a good point, David, in terms of, like I said, the scale thing. But I think I hate to say it, but since COVID, when we had the market that went absolutely insane, there's a lot of bad perception of realtors out there who, because you put a sign on the lawn and you sold it in 2 hours for 100,000 over asking, and you're just sitting there going cha-ching. But I don't
and then promoted how much over asking you did it for.
100%. So this is a different way of promoting, like, yes, this is what we do, but here's what we do for our communities. Because it's not just, I always say that I always look at my job as a matchmaker, right? It's my job to match people to homes. So the same situation, I'm helping people find shelter for themselves. That's exactly what the foundation is doing too. We're providing people in Ontario that may not have the opportunity to have shelter, be it through Habitat for Humanity, be it through, food banks, any of those organizations that participate in it, in giving shelter of any kind. And that's, for a long time, being from a small market, we had a hard time figuring out what actually fell as a shelter-based charity. But when you start looking at, there's a lot. Our community right now is working super hard to build a hospice. It's much needed in our community. The closest hospice is over an hour away from most people. So if somebody is in need of a hospice, anybody locally is, you're driving an hour one way to be with your loved one during that time. So that was, I think, is important in any community. So when you are able to do that and help people with the better their lives, it feels good. And if we're doing it as a collective and we're giving 2.2 million or 1 million, or hopefully one day that number is going to be 5 million very soon. That's what I would like to see. I think that's going to change the perception, just like you said. People are going to be like, wow, because you're right. We don't walk around saying, look what I do. Look what I do. Oh, I volunteered for this, or I hosted this event, or, you don't really do that unless it's in conversation with people, So this is a better way to do it. It's the collective as a whole, and all realtors will be, respected for giving back to this organization.
I just ran some numbers here. Real easy math. What did you say, 100,000 of us?
Approximately, yep.
Okay. And you said you want the number at 5 million?
That's right.
So what would it take? And I want everybody to really think about this one right now. Could you afford to put $50 into this right now? Because if every single one of us put $50 this year, you just hit the number.
Well, and you know what, David? I'm already giving 24. I'm already giving 24 because every month through my real estate board, I give them $2 a month. So
it's amazing.
I could go online to the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation right now and make a donation for $26, and I've donated my $50.
There you go. See, look how simple it is. Seriously, everybody. Like, we know the image that people have of us out there. And I would suggest that, again, yes, as we sit here and say it's not right, it's not who we are, it's not fair. Hey, there are very awesome, easy ways to adjust that very, very, very quickly. And I would say to everybody, it is that simple. So tell me, how do they get involved? Where could they go right now? And one, let's say, make a $50 donation and just go, bang, let's do this. And two, if they've got another idea that they want to do, something even bigger, that's going to take more time, and they want to raise a heck of a lot more money, again, where do they go? How do they get involved?
So I think the first place that I would send people would be to our website, which is realtorscareontario.ca. There is a donate opportunity there as well. There are, I would encourage people to visit our Get Involved section of our website that can tell them exactly what they can do and how they can start to be involved. We would encourage people online to get onto our mailing list so that they can start to be educated on some of the work that we're doing with the foundation and just kind of travel along in our journey. We're in a very unique position right now because we are in a very high growth area for the foundation. So we've made some really great strides these last 2 years, but you're going to see quite a bit of change in the next couple of years, and we would love to have everybody along for that ride.
Well, here, so tell me about that. Because again, and we stated this off the top of the show, go figure, it's about a year since you guys have been on the show. And we were doing that in preparation for an event that we got coming up, which we'll talk to in just a moment.
Yes.
We had so we were back on in September of 2023. I guess maybe give us a summary. How has the foundation grown from, let's say, September 23 to pretty much where we are right now at kind of that juncture of the beginning of August 2024?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is that we've done a complete overhaul of the organization. We knew when we put our new strategic plan in place that we wanted to raise more money and have more visibility. So we have redone our branding to complete overhaul of our website. We've done some complete changes to the messaging and how we portray ourselves to the community. We've done a lot of the behind the scenes work needed to build that infrastructure to get us to where we need to be. We have increased our staff complement from when I started 2 years ago from myself to 4 individuals. And we've really spent this time to develop and strengthen a lot of our core programs that we currently have. And the next step to that is to really broadening our reach, building brand new programs that are more inclusive, that the realtors can be involved in, and to really start to generate more income for the foundation.
Very awesome. Lots of growth. I mean, it's obviously working. People are getting involved. People are starting to see the benefits of it. And of course, we want to encourage everybody to step up even more. I mean, look, I know that there's a lot of you that are watching us live right now. Okay. And right now we've got it up there, www.realtorscareontario.ca. You can go over there. I want to say right now, but I don't want you to stop watching us right now because we got more to share with you. Okay. But I want you to go there today, $50. $50. We start adding this. It starts adding up together collectively. We're going to start raising a lot more money. Okay. And again, we want to encourage everybody to get involved. There's some amazing things happening. And if we think about the growth that we've achieved over the past year and then the year prior to that, think about how much more we can do. Okay. I've got to say this because I'd be remiss if I didn't. I continue to drive the message home about remaining relevant. Okay. Proving our value. We do not want to go the way of Blockbuster. We do not want to go the way of the travel agents, okay? And as people talk about all the technology and all they could do it on their own and all this, we know what goes involved. You don't want to do it on your own and risk losing hundreds of thousands of dollars because you didn't want to use a professional. Well, much the same. By being able to leverage the ORCF and being able to get involved and be able to give back, what we have the ability to do, again, is raise the level of brand awareness for ourselves within our community, for our industry within our community. And we start to show people what value we bring to the table well beyond just helping you transact on a home. So again, I want to encourage everybody to get involved. I'm sorry, guy. I'm passionate about this. I like this one. This is a special one. So here, speaking of that, last year, I was very, very fortunate to meet you guys and to learn about an amazing initiative that you guys have put together, an event that you guys have put together, which is, of course, when I hear the word motorcycles, I'm like chasing squirrels. I lose all focus on everything else. I'm like, motorcycle, where? I got to take part in the motorcycle ride with you guys last year, and I gotta say, it was just an amazing event. The people were absolutely amazing. I remember showing up to the yacht club. Where were we, in Ajax or Whitby?
In Whitby, yep.
Whitby. Okay, showed up to the yacht club. Got upstairs. It was a beautiful spread of food. Everybody was just happy and excited. Got to shake a lot of hands, meet a lot of people, network with some of our industry's best who were in that room. Of course, we had our official kickoff at that morning, and then we got to hit the road. And here you are, riding with some awesome people from the industry, some that some that you've seen, some that you don't know, and we spent 2 days that day, that ride last year. We'll talk to sort of the breakdown of this year's ride in a moment, but we spent 2 days together, riding along, stopping at a variety of different stops, at different boards, at different stops along the way, everybody being so generous to help us with water and coffee and, do photo ops and just shake hands and see people that you don't get to see on a regular basis. And then get back on the bike and be able to ride to the next place. And I mean, look, the jokes, the laughs we were having while we were on the road together, the good times we had when we were sitting there, having that water break, that coffee break. the connections that were made. I mean, I have stayed in touch with so many people from just last year's ride alone, and then not to mention, the events that were hosted in the evening were a ton of fun. Everybody having a really good time, and of course the be all and end all for the amount of dollars that were raised on that ride alone. I mean, I am super, super, super excited to be part of it again this year. Mind Show 101 is very excited to be a sponsor again this year. This is one that I've told you guys, it runs deep in my heart. I think it's an amazing cause that we're doing to give back. And to be able to do that on motorcycles with just absolutely amazing people, making numerous connections, riding with like-minded people, it's the friendships, it's the camaraderie, it's the togetherness. There was something very powerful, a lot of fun, and very heartwarming. If I can get a little, mushy and soft on this one for a second, it was really cool. But tell us more. Motorcycle Ride for Charity. We got it coming up in September. Are we there yet?
Almost.
Oh my God. Share. Tell us more about it. Let's tell everybody about this one.
We need riders, obviously. And I know people that have participated in this event for the first time ever in any sort of motorcycle rally and have absolutely loved it. We have such an amazing team of riders that have stepped up to be on the committee, to be leaders of the ride itself, to take on a role, whether it be a sweep or whatever. They care. They want to give back, and they love being on a bike, just like you, David. I don't ride a bike. Obviously, I'm from Port Dover, and you don't have a motorcycle, right? But for the last 2 years, I've had the privilege of chairing the event. This year, our co-chairs are Lori and Sabrina, and they're amazing. They're doing great things. Last year, I believe, was the highest amount that we've ever raised, which was $49,000. I think the year prior was 42, Shannon?
It was closer to 38. We really did some good work last year.
But previous to that, I think the highest amount was somewhere around 15 to 20,000. So we took the ride from, making 15 or 20,000, which is great. And we've literally more than doubled that, probably tripled the amount that we've raised. Our goal this year is 52,000. I know that in the chat, in the comments on the live here, there we go. See it on the screen. Stacy has shared the link to donate, to sponsor a rider or to become a rider if you'd like to be part of the ride. So if you are interested in being part of it, you can visit that website. It has all of the information that you need. There is a minimum fundraising requirement of $250, $200?
$100. $100 registration fee for the riders. Passengers pay the $100 registration fee as well. But we also asked that they would fundraise a minimum of $200 for the ride as well. And I think one of the things to note is that this year's ride is taking place on September 12th with 2 different routes to choose from.
I was going to say, tell us more about those routes, because I know last year, and I just mentioned, and you might have caught this, everybody, we spent 2 days on the road. We were all together. What we've done this year is we've broken it out into 2 different routes to make it even easier for you to get involved. So I'm going to tell you straight up, no excuses. You got 2 wheels. We want you there. And
then you can come to Dover after, because it's the next day.
Now I'm going to need a sleeping bag or a bunkie somewhere. But seriously, let's talk about the routes. Where are we going?
Yeah, go ahead, Shannon.
So this year we have 2 routes to choose from. One is starting in Ottawa and the other one is starting in Kitchener. So what we're doing is we're moving through quite a few of our boards and associations. They're supporting the event again this year. And the nice thing about the ride itself is that each route will be traveling at the same time and hopefully getting into our final destination, which is Peterborough, for a group celebration. So everybody from both of those rides are going to converge together at the end to just have a really nice evening and celebration and to be proud about the work that they're doing. So this year's ride for...
Hold on. Sorry, Shan, forgive me. I just want to, I have to. Last year, I want everybody to know when we got to that final destination, which was, first of all, first class, a beautiful, beautiful brewery. I know they made a lot of spirits in the house. It was just, It was an awesome event that was put on. It just, I had to share this part because I remember the energy in that. I mean, I know we were sort of indoors. We went outdoors for a few minutes to do some announcements and stuff. The energy that was going on with the group at that moment we had just spent 2 days on the road. We had spent weeks and months, leading up to this event, raising funds, putting the word out there. And it was that moment where we actually got to find out our final number of where we were at.
It's exciting.
And then we all sat there going, wait, let's do more. And everybody just got so pumped up to want to even give more.
It was an incredible experience.
The energy was awesome.
Yeah. And that
was
just really tells you how much people appreciated
I just got goosebumps thinking about that one. That was cool.
Seriously.
Right?
It was an incredible moment.
I totally cut you off there.
No, and I think that's an
incredible moment.
And I think that's important, like you said about the camaraderie. Like, there's some people that are on this ride that I knew of because they were realtor friends with other riders that, have rode in the ride in the past, or with other rides like the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation rides and so forth. But I'd never actually met them. Like, this group of people is so cool. We have so much fun. You're meeting people from all across the province. So everywhere, like we had people from Peterborough, we had Ottawa, we had Niagara, there was just people from everywhere, Windsor, Chatham, which is so great.
Connections, eh?
Yeah, that's right. These connections. It's like going to a conference, but it's better because it's more intimate. You're spending literally 2 days together. Like this time we're doing it on the one day, but you're going to meet up with two groups of riders. But so we really are just so lucky to have this group, and this group continues to work so hard to make this event such a success. And I know that we're going to reach this $52,000 goal. I know it's going to happen, and we're going to have a bunch of riders. I'm hoping we'll see some registration numbers go up soon. As you all know, we're realtors. We're very last minute.
Last minute, for sure.
But if you could not be last minute, that would be great, so that we can have a better idea of how many people to expect. But I'm truly thinking, I know Lori and Sabrina will do a great job, and this will be another fantastic ride. And it is one of our favorite events, and we look forward to it every year. And again, like we're seeing each year, we see a lot of repeat riders, but every year since I've been involved in this, we've had brand new riders, never rode in this before, never rode in any sort of rally at all. And they love it. It's very well organized, and we have a great time. So hopefully.
I think it's also really good to mention that if you don't have a full day, that's okay. Pick us up at one of our stops, do a couple of those local stops, and just do a couple of hours with us to ride with us. You don't have to necessarily, if you can't commit to the full day, just commit to certain stops along the route. And all of that information is on our website at realtorscareontario.ca/ride.
Okay. Now I will say this. First off, if you want to have the time, make the time.
Agreed.
Okay? And this is to anybody. You totally could take the day. Shannon's letting you off the hook a little bit, and it's okay because she's right. You could just stop in for a stop. But I'm going to tell you, once you're there, you're not going to want to just be there for a stop. You're going to want to ride with us the whole way through. It is a blast. Now, Shannon, I completely cut you off a moment ago. Please tell us those routes. Where are we going?
Yeah, so the route in Eastern Canada will go from Ottawa to Rideau St. Lawrence. It'll go to Kingston and then Peterborough. And then our other stop in Western Canada will go from Peterborough, Barrie into, Kitchener, Barrie to Peterborough as well. So we're hitting quite a few boards. And another nice thing about it is the boards really welcome us in. And have individuals there to kind of welcome them into each stop. So you're seeing new people at every stop, and you're engaging with new individuals at each stop. It's a great experience.
Well, that was like I remember being at L-Star with our friend Bill Matter, who was in the house there, hosted us, did a fantastic job that day.
You did.
It was a lot of fun. But again, these are the awesome people you get to see when you're on this ride, right? You get to meet these people. If you haven't met them before, you get to shake hands and say hello if you have seen them before, or catch up. I can't stress it enough. And with the two different routes, and ladies and gentlemen, I love to ride. I got to tell you, I know the areas we're going through. I want to do them both. And I know it's not going to be physically possible that day, but like, that's how excited I am and how amazing it really is going to be while we're out there. So I just, again, I really, really want to encourage everybody, get involved, figure that out. In fact, who can people contact as they're interested in signing up to ride, to pledge a rider, to sponsor the Motorcycle Ride for Charity. I know that we had put up the link a moment ago. Is there somebody specific that they should talk to, or is it just go over there and sign up?
All of that information is on our website. We're a very small team of like 3 or 4 people. So you can reach out to any of us. All of our contact information is on the website. I would love to talk to anyone who is interested in being involved and let them know more about it. So my email address, if anyone is interested, is shannonk@orcf.ca. And we would love to hear from you and see you join us this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, everybody listen, don't sleep on it. It's going to be a really good time. It's going to, donate to a great cause. It's going to show the support that we have together. So really, I just want to encourage everybody, get involved. Now, to those of you that are sitting back saying, well, I'm thinking about getting involved, but I don't ride a bike. First, I just want to share. We've got folks that are watching from far and wide right now, and we've got a comment that just came in our VIP room as a Mindshare Master. Somebody from BC, and not to go through the whole comment, but essentially said, that this is absolutely amazing. I wish that my board did this. This is such an awesome idea. I wish that, our organization did this out in BC. Hey, Ontario Realtors. And I know there's many of you that are not from Ontario listening right now. And listen, you can always get involved. You can always give back. But everybody in Ontario, understand how lucky we are right now to have a foundation like this. Let's take advantage. Now, you guys have a new slogan asking the question of what's your passion? What does that mean? Because again, we're going beyond just the motorcycles now. We're going beyond that one particular event. What does that new slogan, what's your passion? What does that mean to people? Or what does that mean for us saying to people?
I think that the best way to explain that is let's talk about Brian Walker, right? Brian Walker's passion is music. He loves to play music. Irene Chu, her passion is line dancing. She loves to line dance and host events. They both have taken that passion, created an event that raises money for the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation. So that's exactly where we're going with that. If you have a passion, look at the Sudbury group of realtors that did a baseball tournament. Maybe somebody who started that was their passion, like you, David, as a coach. Anything like that anything that you have a passion in that you think you could use to raise funds. In my area, it might be a fishing tournament, right? People love to fish down here in Long Point. So maybe it's a fishing tournament that somebody hosts or anything like that. Anything that you have a passion in that you want to take it to the next level and help raise funds for the foundation, let us know. Reach out to us. Let us help you. We can give you some tips and some ideas to make that a reality. I can tell you that we are working on what I call a community initiative kind of program that will do exactly this. It will help you with your passion and making it into a fundraiser and so forth. But it's so new. It's not launched yet. It's not completed yet. So I'm not going to say anything else about it, but I'll let Shannon touch on it just so you can kind of have an idea of what to look forward to when it is ready.
Okay. And because I was just going to ask as well, like you named off, again, Jam with the Past President. We've named off baseball tournaments. We've got motorcycle rides. Anything else cool that comes to mind that people have done, or even things that you've come up with, like in your mind gone, oh, that'd be amazing if somebody did this?
I haven't thought of, the fishing tournament thing just came to my head.
There's one. Yeah, sorry.
Really
okay,
cool.
There you go. So any kind of tournament.
Idea. Yeah.
Any kind of tournament could be done.
Any kind of tournament, any kind of special event. So the line dancing event was basically like a great day of learning to line dance and participating in a line dancing session, which is awesome. And that's Irene's passion. And she's very passionate about the foundation too. So we're super lucky to have her on board with us because she's been a huge asset on our committees as well. So I think it's your passion, right? So maybe you want to host like some sort of cooking class with a celebrity chef if you have access to one. I don't know. Maybe Nelson Goulart will watch this one day and talk to Massimo and see if we can host a class at the restaurant. But that's just, that could be, and that I know Nelson personally, and I know he is a big supporter of the foundation, and I know that he loves to cook. So there's an idea for him. We should give him a shout out. Somebody want to tag him in the comments and make sure he watches this. But that's just a good example, right? What do you love to do? How can you use that to generate funds?
And I also think really important is it doesn't have to be a big deal. Like it could be you've done a garage sale or you've done
Ooh, nice
something
point.
small. Like it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It could be something very simple that you enjoy doing that can bring a big difference. Look, we have boards that are doing $1-2 a month. It's a small amount, but collectively that's a big number. So don't ever think that what you're doing is too small.
Lori just said lemonade stand.
Right. Like
Great
anything.
idea. There you go.
They're great ideas. And collectively, when you add all of this up, it makes a huge difference in the communities and to all those people that need it. I think that's the most important thing to remember is that we're not raising this money for us. We're raising the money for those people in our communities that need it the most.
Yep.
Just awesome. Just awesome. Some great ideas there. And I mean, again, I keep coming back, Amie, to this number. If every one of us just gave $50, and I know that like maybe there's some people going, Dave, man, things are tight out there. No, I got you. But remember something, there's a line that we've all grown up with at some point or another, and we've heard it, and this is not to get, and I'm by no means going religious by any means here. Give and you shall receive. Now, don't give to receive. But when you do give, you do receive. And if you give genuinely and you truly do it from the heart and you truly do it knowing why you're doing it and what you're doing it for, and it's got nothing to do with what you'll get in return. And again, you do it from the heart. Good things happen. Good things come back around. If every single one of us can get involved just a wee bit at the smallest of levels, but just a little bit above and beyond what's already been given. And this is even before getting involved with the events. We're already growing immensely. Now you start to get creative and you think to yourself, hey, I can do so much more than that. I can come up with these ideas. I mean, yeah, Lori says the lemonade stand. I'm like, sure, you could pull $50 from a lemonade stand in a day. That shouldn't be too difficult. But I mean, think about baseball tournament, $10,000, line dancing, fishing tournaments. I mean, motorcycle rides, right? What, over 50 grand. I mean, come on, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we are an amazing industry, some amazing, amazing people. We have the opportunity to do some amazing, amazing, amazing things. Now, again, let's go back to this one. We want to get involved. Somebody's interested. Somebody has questions. Somebody wants to assist in making an impact in our community. Where are we sending them?
So I think that we're sending them right to our website, which is realtorscareontario.ca, or they can contact us at the office. We would be happy to do that. The other thing I would strongly encourage people to do is to connect on our social media. We've got great social media that's up that really tells the story of what we're doing for the organization, and we would love to see you there.
Yeah, we do have a contact us page on the website where you can just fill out a form with your name, email address, phone number, and it leaves you a spot to leave a message as to what you're inquiring about. And then when staff receives that, they can distribute it to the proper person that can get back to you and give you all of the tips that you need to get involved. And you know what? Get involved doesn't just have to be a fundraiser. If giving back is one of your passions, which it is one of mine, join the foundation. Become a member of the board of directors. We have openings every year in different levels. And if you're a realtor or an executive officer within the province of Ontario, check us out, get involved, learn, and then you'll learn even more about the foundation. So we'd love to see new people involved. You can also get involved in just by being on a committee rather than taking that leap to the board of directors. Maybe just volunteer for a committee. The call for those will go out in December, most likely, and it'll always be on our social media where you can sign up to be part of a committee. That'll help you get your feet wet, learn a little bit about the foundation, and then if you still love everything about it that we do, then take the next step and become a director.
I sat there last year. I remember at the end of day one, hanging out with everybody and truly getting to sit down and speak with people, and just like nobody's wearing a cap. Nobody's there going, here's who I am and here's what company I'm with. No, we were there as one group, part of the ORCF. No matter directors or people that were there for their first time or people that have been there many, many years over, it was one group. There was a ton of laughs, a ton of fun. it seriously, everybody was so welcoming, so even get the involvement, right? And I sat there for my first time going, how could I get more involved? How could I just play a bigger role in this? And this wasn't something that anybody on that end sort of asked or begged of or tried to sell me on. It wasn't that. It's like, you're part of it. It starts to feel good. And you start to realize you're doing good.
Just like this, David, I mean, this is huge for us to be able to get our message out there through platforms like this. I know we have another opportunity on another podcast, a little bit of a shorter time frame. We've worked with the people at REM as well to try and get our message out. If you have something like that you'd like us to be part of, to come and talk about what we're doing and how people can get involved, that's not only helping us, but it's spreading the message and touching more realtors every time we do that. So we would love to be, attend your events, even if you're a real estate board or a brokerage and you want us to come and, either virtually or in person to talk about what we do and how you can become involved. We're happy to do that.
I know I was blown away when I saw the Jump in the Lake Challenge with Dean and Jen of the Kawartha Lakes, who are, been coaching with us for many years. They're just incredible people. The Jump in the Lake Challenge is something that they put together and again, got the ORCF involved. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited to see that connection because I wasn't aware of it. But again, everybody, it is not hard to get yourself involved. It is not hard to be able to give back. So I really want to push that message and really just encourage everybody, get involved, be part of this thing. It feels amazing. You're going to feel great about it. And you're going to be doing great for others.
And David, thank you so much for your support. You came in last year from I think you got an email saying something about the motorcycle ride, knowing nothing about us. And then all of a sudden you were just jumped in with both feet. And we really appreciate you engaging with us that quickly. We appreciate that.
Oh, I'm just grateful that you guys were so open-armed about it. I was excited when I saw that email. I'm like, wait, okay, who do I got to contact? It was amazing. Very, very awesome. I want to ask you both a question that I'm going to ask you to each answer this individually. We've talked a lot today about, doing good. We've talked a lot today about what it feels like to do good and how people can get involved to do, even more good. You both obviously are very involved. Shannon, you do this all day, every day. Amie, you're incredibly involved in this, not to mention every other hat that you wear. Like, wow, it is wild. I mean, congratulations to you both. I'm curious to know, at the end of a day, when you lay your head down and you know that you've gone through your day and you've done everything you possibly could, how do you know it's been a successful day for you?
I like your goosebump analogy earlier, when you think back on your day and go, okay. And I always look at what I did. I guess this is just me, maybe not just me. I'm sure it's other people, but I always look at what I did to help others. And in our job, that's what we do every day. I should say our career. It's not really, I don't really consider it a job. That's not, it's not 9 to 5, but it is our passion. And that's what we do. We like I said earlier, we were matchmakers. So, last week when I basically forced these clients to go look at a home that they were like, I don't know, it's 15 higher than I can afford. And they ended up buying it and they're in their dream home. And at the end of the day, I went to bed going, okay, I did good. And I did good for somebody else, because it's not for me, it's all for them. And at the end of the day, if I've made a difference in somebody's life, be it through, donating money to a charity or assisting somebody in finding a home or donating some time working for Habitat for Humanity, I feel good about myself at the end of the day and what I've done for everyone else. The rest of it doesn't matter to me.
Love that. See, it's amazing. Shannon, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been in this industry, the not-for-profit industry, for 25 years. So it's pretty much ingrained in my DNA at this point. But I think the main thing for me is just, realizing the difference that we're making in our community. And I also think that it's very humbling to not forget that, some people are 1-2 paychecks away from needing this program themselves. So, anything that we can do to heighten that awareness and to provide funding and to, educate our realtors on the work that we're doing, that's a really good day.
Absolutely.
I love that. I ask that question often. To me, it's a special question because what it does is it amplifies the message to everybody.
Yeah.
typically speaking, most people who look at a day as being successful never relate that back to money.
Yeah.
It usually 9 times out of 10, I might even say like 9.5 or almost 10 times out of 10, when somebody answers that question, they use the word help. And it's usually helping others. And I think that that is a genuine response. I think that it is something that we all need to internalize, that as we look inside of ourselves and we look for that happiness, we look for that feeling of success, that yes, oftentimes we do tie it back to monetization and the amount of money we made based on the efforts we put out there today. In saying that, though, nobody really equates the amount of dollars back to what they call a successful day. And that's been a big learning moment for me. I mean, we're 294 episodes deep, and we're talking literally every single person who's ever answered that question has not used the word money. So as we look for happiness and we look for self-fulfillment, think about that. Now, on today's show, we have talked about money and we've talked about giving back, but we've done it in a way where, again, we're helping others. And think about that. There's the paradigm, right? We're helping others by providing. And I don't know about any of you guys, but I know for myself, I've always looked at, the bajillionaires of the world, those who are the richest people in the world, the richest companies in the world. And you sit back and think, these people have anything they want. They could do anything they want in life. They could have everything they need in life. And then yet we've got millions, probably billions on this planet who don't have clean drinking water, who don't have shelter. And you think to yourself, if those bajillionaires would just give a little bit of back, they could help the entire planet. If the athletes weren't making as much money as they make, or if they decided to give back, and I know there's many that do, we could help so many people. Now, I'm going to bring this back to our realities and say, you may not be a bajillionaire and you may not be a professional athlete making hundreds of millions of dollars. And yes, there are many people right now tuned in that are probably very, very much in a struggle financially at this moment. The economy is what it is for a moment. Remember, it's a moment. And like I said off the top, what goes up must come down. What goes down must go up. And I'm telling you, there's a ton of opportunity ahead. And in doing all of that and knowing that and being able to see the optimism of it, think now to yourself, what could I do to help? I don't have bajillions and I don't have hundreds of millions, but do I have something that I can give? If there's something that I can do to get involved to be able to help others, because you may not benefit a penny of that money, but what you will do is you will help others. And then you will feel successful. Then you will feel happy. You will have self-fulfillment. And tying that right back to the question I just asked you both, it always comes back to helping others if you want to have a successful day. Any final words of wisdom that either of you, both of you, would like to share about how the ORCF is helping everybody get out there, boost their brand, and how they can leverage the ORCF to help the communities in which they live and work?
I think we covered pretty much all of it, David, in much of this conversation. I think you say it well when you talk about leveraging the brand that ORCF is. Become part of it. Share that. Share it out there when we do good things. Let people know what realtors are doing in their communities. And I think the HEART program comes in where we're talking about, people that have done great things in their communities. But again, the more money that funnels through the foundation, whether it's coming to us and back out to your charity, or it's coming to us as a donation that we get to keep and decide where to distribute, or if it's through the Every Realtor campaign, every single time a dollar goes through there, that thermometer raises. And I always use the thermometer, and I'm sure you can all picture in your head the fundraising thermometer. Well, I'd like to see that reach 5 million. And the only way that's going to happen is if realtors get involved, more realtors donate, more realtors host events, whatever the case may be. But we as realtors, we can do this. And like you said, it's $50 a year. So let's work on it. Head over to our donation page, donate $50, and it's done.
Love that. Shannon?
I think this is just a really exciting time to get involved and learn what we're doing. We're in a huge growth area of our business, and exciting things are coming.
Well, I am excited. I am very excited for what's ahead. I'm very excited for the growth that the foundation is going to achieve this upcoming year. Over these next 365 days. What's happened over the past 365 has been incredible. And with the two of you there and the amazing team that you've got there, I have no doubt there's going to be even more incredible things. I thank you both very much for allowing me and having me as part of it. You can tell it goes beyond just being here. I'm passionate about it. And I'm just grateful to be able to be involved and be a voice for not only the ride that's coming up, but for the ORCF as a whole. I think what you guys are doing is fantastic, and I just thank you for having me involved. I also want to thank you both very much for joining us today on the Mindshare podcast.
Well, thank you for having us. It means a lot to us, and we are so grateful for your support.
I cannot wait to see you both. I cannot wait to see everybody on the ride. Get involved, get in touch. You guys know where to find them. Tune in. Once again, I thank you both very, very much. And I thank everybody for tuning in today to this episode. Thanks, ladies. Thank you. You are either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Now, don't forget to leave a review of the podcast, www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Super, super grateful if you take a quick moment to go on over there. I know we ask for these all the time, and I know everybody's always asking for reviews, but we all know the power of this stuff, and it means a lot to us. It lets us know that that it's working, that you're listening, you're tuning in, and it's helpful to you. So please, ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Of course, if we haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. I want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems. I want to thank REM Magazine and, of course, our friends here at the ORCF, the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation, for sponsoring this episode of the Mindshare podcast. Make sure to get involved in the ride. And, of course, I need to mention to you, go check out the details of our upcoming Mindshare Mastermind. I do want to meet you in person in September in Toronto. Registration for the Mastermind is closing on August 9th. Registration for the ride is open right now. Get involved. I can't wait to see you guys there. As always, thank you very, very much for tuning in.